ආයුබෝවන් සියලු දෙනාටම ඔටෝ ට්‍රේනර් SL channel එකෙන් අද මම ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නේ ද්‍රව එක්ස්කේවේටර් යන්ත්‍ර ක්‍රියා කරවීම පිළිබඳව වීඩියෝ මාලාවේ තුන්වැනි සහ අවසාන කොටසයි. ඔබ පළවෙනි සහ දෙවෙනි කොටස් නැරඹුවේ නැතිනම් ඩිස්ක්‍රිප්ෂන් එකේ පහළ කොටසේ එම වීඩියෝ වල ලින්ක් එක සඳහන් කර ඇත. මෙම වීඩියෝවෙන් එක්ස්කේවේටර් යන්ත්‍රයෙන් කළ හැකි ප්‍රායෝගික ක්‍රියාකාරකම් විස්තර කරයි. එනම් හයිබෙඩ් ට්‍රේලරයට පැටවීම, බෑවුමක ඉහළට හෝ පහළට ගමන් කිරීම, අගල් කැණීම, අගල් ආපසු පිරවීම, ඩම් ට්‍රක් වලට පැටවීම, බෑවුම් කැපීම යන වැඩ කරන ආකාරය පෙන්වයි.
Now let us look at the excavator in a little more detail and identify the major components. The excavator consists of three main parts. A chassis mounted on crawler tracks, sometimes called the lower deck. The superstructure, which is fully revolving through 360 degrees and sometimes called the upper deck. And the front-mounted backhoe attachment. The chassis is very strong in construction and supports the slew ring gear, the tracks and hydraulic drive motors. The superstructure encloses the power unit, hydraulic pumps, fuel and oil tanks, and operator's cab with the controls. The backhoe attachment consists of the main boom and hoist cylinders. Attached to the main boom is the dipper arm, activated by the dipper arm cylinder. At the end of the dipper arm is the digging bucket, again activated by a hydraulic cylinder or ram. The bucket is fitted with replaceable teeth and side cutters. Now, what aspects of operator activities is the film going to cover? In selecting the following tasks, consideration has been given to the normal employment of excavators fitted with backhoe attachments, areas of potential danger when operating and maintenance. The tasks also form part of the tests for the National Proficiency Certificate. Daily maintenance, trench excavation, loading haulage vehicles, climbing slopes and banks, bank battering, loading onto transporters. The importance of regular maintenance cannot be emphasized too strongly, as accumulated dirt and grease can hide loose nuts and bolts, metal fractures, and oil or fuel leaks. Such faults, if ignored or not discovered in time, can lead to serious breakdowns. This subject will be discussed in detail in a separate film. In addition, at the end of each day, the machine should be thoroughly clean. The air reservoir, if fitted, drained of water, and the fuel tank filled to prevent condensation occurring. The drain tap at the bottom of the fuel tank should be opened periodically to release any water that may have accumulated. When starting trenching operations, the operator must ensure that the machine is correctly positioned along the center line of the proposed trench. The machine must be placed at a distance from the starting point so that the operator can excavate to the full depth without moving station. Once the digging has started, the instructor or demonstrator must constantly check the levels with the traveler until the correct depth has been reached. Once the correct depth has been achieved, he must signal to the operator that this is so. What is the instructor looking for? Is the operator filling the bucket to heaped capacity each time? Is the starting face vertical? Is the waste material or windrow at least 1 meter from the edge of the trench? Is the trench bottom level? Is the operator removing loose material from the edge of the trench? Is the operator slewing to his left? This may not always be possible. Slewing to the left ensures that the operator has maximum vision during the operation. Is the wall of the trench truly vertical? Trench walls that are not vertical are prone to collapse. Loading haulage vehicles. To achieve maximum output, it is essential that the operator makes as few adjustments to the boom and dipper arm as possible prior to loading. If the whole vehicle is too close, then the boom has to be lifted higher and the dipper arm readjusted. If the whole vehicle is too far away, then a similar amount of adjustment may have to be carried out. The operator should aim for a situation where, on filling the bucket, the only other action is to lift the boom and slew to a position directly over the whole vehicle body. To ensure that this situation occurs, the operator should fill the bucket as the whole vehicle approaches and lift it to the optimum position where the body can be reversed directly under it. Once the operator is satisfied that the body of the whole vehicle is correctly positioned, he must signal the driver to stop by pressing the excavator warning horn. The operator should not overfill the whole vehicle, as the extra material is likely to fall off during transportation and cause the whole road to deteriorate. Anyway, to load a vehicle only to have part of it fall off wastes production and increases operation costs. operator should still be able to achieve 120 cycles per hour. The operator should continue along the bench with his tracks parallel to the face until the task is completed, slowing to the left wherever possible to ensure maximum vision. The view when slowing to the right is hindered by the raised boom and could lead to a dangerous situation. Ascending and descending slopes. Providing the surface of the slope is sufficiently stable, the excavator can negotiate an angle of 1 to 3. However, certain basic precautions must be taken. The driving sprockets must be to the rear. This keeps the track tight and tends to force the front idler sprocket down, thus improving traction. The boom and dipper arm must be kept well forward and low, forcing the front of the track down, which improves traction. As the excavator reaches the point of balance at the top of the slope, the boom must be lowered still further, thus lowering the center of gravity and thereby increasing stability should the tracks slip. If the boom is too high, there may be a danger of the machine flipping backwards under certain circumstances. As the top of the bank is cleared, then the boom must be raised accordingly so that the bucket is kept clear of the ground. When descending, the drive sprocket still remains to the rear for the same reasons, but this time the boom is raised and the dipper arm crowded in, moving the center of gravity further to the rear of the machine, thus increasing stability. The bucket should be kept just above the ground and the machine correctly aligned to descend vertically. In both ascending and descending, the point of balance at the top of the slope should be cut away if severe. There is a much different technique for negotiating a short bank. The operator must line the excavator so that he is at 90 degrees to the bank. He must then drive forward until the tracks just touch the toe of the bank. It must be remembered at this point that the operator is trying to get on top of the bank without causing too much damage to the bank slope or road shoulder. The dipper arm is moved out until the bucket is well past the center of the road. The bucket is furled, the boom is then lowered until the bucket rests on the road surface. If the road has been paved, the bucket should be placed on timber blocks. The boom must be forced down until the front sprocket is lifted high enough . Once the excavator is correctly positioned, the operator must slew to the left for 180 degrees and position the dipper arm so that the bucket is just forward of the boom point pin. Forcing down on the boom will raise the tracks until they are parallel with the road surface. By driving onto the road and at the same time crowding out with the dipper arm, the maneuver is completed. To descend is the reverse of this maneuver, as you can see. The damage to the bank is negligible, even though the conditions are unfavorable. This method can also be used to side load the excavator onto a low bed trailer, providing the trailer is correctly blocked. Backfilling trenches. There are two methods of backfilling with the hydraulic excavator, inline and cross carriage. With the inline method, the machine is positioned with one track dead in line with the trench being filled. Spoil is dragged in, and the part of the excavation nearest to the machine is filled to level. As the backfilling proceeds, each part of the infill receives compaction by the track as the machine moves forward. With the cross-carriage method, however, the machine is positioned for traveling alongside the trench, dragging the spoil back from the windrow. The infill can be compacted later by tracking the machine over it. The compaction given in both methods will be insufficient for construction purposes. The trench infill is likely to ultimately slump. Forming a batter. The trainee must position the machine tracks in line, parallel to the edge of the bank and not too near. Work the machine cross carriage. Batter the slope progressively from the bottom to the top, cutting to the required profile, surplus soil being dumped to waste on the embankment top, taking care not to leave a lip at the top of the batter which may interfere with the drainage. Deep low spots of the batter should be overfilled and then cut back to the desired profile. Leave a tooth-marked finish on batters which are to be later grass seeded. After seeding, a smoother finish with the bucket bottom will cover and seal the batter. If the batter is to be left unseeded, the surface should always be left smooth in order to shed water and prevent erosion. This method can also be used to spread topsoil dumped at the foot of the bank. End loading the excavator. Because the travel speed of the excavator does not exceed 3.25 kilometers per hour, it is necessary to transport it from site to site by this type of road transport. Loading and unloading the excavator onto a high bed trailer should not be difficult or dangerous, providing the basic precautions are taken. These are: only one man is in charge of the operation, and it is he who gives the operator the necessary signals. He may, however, use others to repeat the signals if he is positioned outside the excavator operator's line of sight. The operator must understand the signals given and comply with them implicitly. The travel speed must be kept as low as possible. The machine is loaded with the boom horizontal and the dipper arm forward of the boom point pin, and with the bucket just off the line of the trailer. On reaching the point of balance, the operator must stop and slowly move the dipper arm further away from the line of the boom point pin, thereby increasing the forward weight. The excavator will gently move to the horizontal position, and the machine can be driven onto the flatbed and be positioned for chaining down. For transportation, the boom assembly is lowered until it is in a position lower than any other part of the superstructure, thus reducing the overall height of the load to a minimum. The unloading technique is slightly different. The machine is moved forward with the boom above the horizontal position and dipper arm vertical until the tracks start to move over the end of the ramp section. operator must lower the bucket until it comes in contact with the ground and continue traveling forward. As can be seen, the tracks will remain horizontal. Once 2/3 of the tracks have passed over the point of balance, the boom is then slowly raised. The front of the tracks will gently lower until full contact with the ramps has been achieved. With the bucket just clear of the ground, the excavator can continue down the ramp. This method is particularly useful when the tracks are muddy and the ramps wet.
ද්‍රවබල එස්කවේටර් යන්ත්‍ර ක්‍රියා කරවීම ගැන විස්තර කළ වීඩියෝවේ තුන්වන සහ අවසාන කොටස දැන් නිමා කරනවා. මෝටර රථ කාර්මික ශිල්පය සහ බරවාහන ක්‍රියා කරවීම ගැන දැන ගැනීමට ඔටෝ ට්‍රේනර් SL චැනලය හා සම්බන්ධ වන්න. මගේ චැනලය සබ්ස්ක්‍රයිබ් කරන්න. වීඩියෝව හොඳ නම් ලයික් එකක් දමන්න. වීඩියෝව නැරඹුවාට ස්තුතියි. නැවත මෙවන් වීඩියෝවකින් හමුවන්තෙක් සියලු දෙනාටම සුබ දවසක්.